and lived in different countries. And this is the thing that I really love the most about my job. The adventure of coming to different places and tasting new dishes and meeting new people, walking new streets. This is like the best job in the world in that sense. But the best part of it is when we actually start to feel that you belong to those places because you've been there for a while. And when your neighbors become your friends, when you start humming the local songs, in the shower, when you know where the best restaurants are. And I've been in China now for 4 years, and I can tell you, I absolutely know where the best Beijing Kaoya is. And I definitely hum, when I'm walking around. So it's really, I feel like now I'm part of it. And when I go to different places, I kind of take a little bit of China, its flavors, its sounds, its beautiful images with me. So one of the words that I love the most is exactly this word, belong. Think about it. It means that you be in a place for a long time. You call it home. That you actually, long for it, that you miss it when you're away. So when I started working for UNESCO, I found that there are certain places in the world that I really belong to all of us, and to where we belong as well. Those are the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And they are very, very special places because they evoke in us that feeling, that emotion, that we belong there. And that they are part of our personal history, they are part of our trajectory, our journeys through life. So I want to tell you, why these places are so, so amazing. And if I show you a picture of one of those places, I want you to raise your hand if you've been there before. Okay. How did this World Heritage Sites concept started? In the 1960s, Egypt was developing very fast, and they needed more electricity. So they felt, the engineers looked around, and they felt that they found the very best location where they could build a new dam. However, that very best location had one tiny little problem. It would flood and submerge one of the most amazing constructions ever, the Abu Simbel temples along the river. They existed for thousands of years and have been beloved by generations. So of course, an entire outcry started, not only in Egypt, but around the world. People started this fierce debate. Should we have progress, and build a dam? Or should we have culture and memories and protect our history and find a different place? So UNESCO stepped up and found the way for Egypt to actually have the best of both worlds. We took the Abu Simbel rocks one by one and moved them to a different location. So this is now, where the preserved temples are located, and they are visited and loved, continue to be loved by millions around the world. So, okay. So this experience showed, that actually there are places that people care about so much, that they are really so important to communities, and not necessarily just to the people who live there, but the people who visit it, people who know about it, that they really are worth preserving, for the benefit of all. So UNESCO started thinking about how do we work to actually make that happen, preserve those places, that really belong to all humanity. And in 1972, UNESCO adopted a convention. It's called the Convention Concerning the Protection of the World's Cultural and Natural Heritage. And that convention was perhaps one of the most ratified in the entire history. 197 countries actually had ratified it. because they really feel that they have places in their territories that really worth preserving and protecting. So immediately, people and countries started submitting requests for their places to be part of the list. Today, we have 1,121 World Heritage Sites around the world. And, of course, China is the number one. It's tied in with Italy, has 55 properties, which just really show that China has a rich, deep, ancient history, not only that, but also a lot of diversity, and so a lot of different places that are unique and special. So how a World Heritage Site ends up on the list? Why are specific places selected to be part of that list? Well, what qualities they have to have are defined by the selection criteria for the World Heritage List. And that's these 10 criteria. They have to really be so outstanding that they are considered to have outstanding universal value. And for that, it means that they are a masterpiece of human creativity somehow, or they are an exceptional testimony of cultural traditions, of a civilization that is still living or that has already, expired. That they are part of an outstanding ecological and biological process, or a natural phenomena of special natural beauty, or that they are representative of a major stage in the history of the world, or a natural habitat of particularly rich biodiversity. So those are the places that actually end up on the list. So let me show you concretely what it means to be one of those places. Your hand, have you been there? This is the Westlake cultural landscape. Oh my God, yes, yes. I've been there too many, many times. Every time I go to Hangzhou, I have to stop by and look at it. Jesus, there we go. And it's a representation of special, exceptional traditions, testimony to our cultural traditions. The Tang and Song communities had this belief that you actually work with nature to showcase the harmony between humanity and nature by using nature to build pictures, to enhance the landscape building pictures. So what they did was they built pagodas and temples and gardens, put ornamental trees in the Westlake and around, in the surrounding hills to really create these amazing pictures that express the Buddhist beliefs of peacefulness, of communing with nature. And look at this, don't you feel, like centered when you look at it? And when you look through, one of those pagodas or gardens, you actually see nature with a different eye. And it's amazing. Another example, this is the high rice fields of the Ifugao in the Philippines. Anybody have been there? No? Oh my God, you have to go. Look at this place. It's extraordinary. The Ifugao, they learned generation after generation to also, interact positively with nature. So they learned from their ancestors that to build their rice fields, instead of plowing through, the mountains and actually leveling everything, they work with the rhythm of the mountains. They build their rice paddies around it, following the rhythm of nature. And that's not just creating a beautiful, beautiful landscape, but actually this is smart technology, because these rice fields are more productive, more resilient than others, because instead of just being built, in a particular way, they follow the movement of the air and of the earth, and then they stay in place to, better. And this is what results. Look at this landscape. It's extraordinary. Another good example, of course, who knows or have been to the Mugalku in Gansu province? Raise your hand. I cannot believe you guys, seriously? This is this extraordinary place, one of the most beautiful, it's perhaps one of my favorite places in the entire planet. Look at this. The Mogalku is special, very special, because it was at the very strategic place along the Silk Roads. And because of this particular location, it received visitors from all over the world that were traveling. And it shows the presence of these visitors from Central Asia, from India, from China, maybe not you guys yet, but they should be there, that passed through. And while traveling, for trade, for science, for art, for everything, they stopped by, the temples and became sponsors of statues or frescoes or of entire cells or even cave sanctuaries, entire cave sanctuaries. And they left their marks there. They built 492 cells and sanctuaries over 1,000 years. And you can see exactly, where these travelers stopped. So there is no place in the world that has, such an amazing example of 1,000 years of interaction between different cultures. And this is an extraordinary example. And of course, it's part of the World Heritage List. This is Mosul in Iraq. Mosul was for 2,500 years a place where different ethnic and religious groups lived together in harmony and peace. So the peaceful spirit of Mosul, however, was shattered in 2014 when the ISIL invaded the city and started a fight that lasted for 3 entire years. By the time this conflict was over, the entire center of the city, the most amazing places that have endured for 2,000 years, were left in rubble. So UNESCO started this project to revive the spirit of Mosul, a spirit of peace, by actually working with the communities, raising resources, and working with the global community to rebuild, rehabilitate the cultural structures, and to work to ensure that the education and cultural institutions of Mosul were strengthened so that they can, take this construction process forward. This was a casualty of war, but there is an even worse situation when there is deliberate destruction of culture. What happened in Palmyra, in Syria, was even more dramatic, because the temples that existed there, the temple of Abal Shamin, it's an incredible, incredible construction. It started in the year 32 and represented the absolute best example of architecture of the Mediterranean, areas for many, many centuries, millennia actually. It had amalgamated cultures from Greco-Roman, architecture with those of the Near East, and built a very uniquely beautiful series of temples. So when the ISIS took Palmyra, they came in and promised not to destroy it. But at a certain moment, I don't know exactly, they just bombed it, and in a couple hours, it was all gone. So now we are trying to figure out how we can rebuild this, rehabilitate this, and bring it back to the communities. So why do people destroy cultural heritage like this? Because exactly, heritage places are places to which we belong. So when we destroy that, so when somebody destroys it, they are exactly destroying this sense of community, this sense of dignity and pride that you have, and people leave, and people lose, that sense forever. But of course, heritage sites are not just, having challenges. They offer tremendous opportunities, incredible opportunities. This is Shilin, where the Sunny embroiderers live, in the South China Karst World Heritage Site. It's amazing. It's an amazing place. And this place, in the last few years, received 3 million tourists. And these 3 million tourists passed through and enjoyed the natural beauty of the place, the amazing crafts produced. And of course, they also realized that the 67,000 people who actually live there, the members of those community, they live in poverty. And, so what a contrast, So UNESCO started a project in which we worked with the communities to really actually engage with the tourism industry in a different way, to use their amazing creativity and embroidery skills to create products that the tourists could actually enjoy, but that would improve their own livelihoods. And of course, it's not just that improves livelihoods, but it offers opportunities for women, because most of the Sunny embroiderers, these amazing people, are actually women as well. So create jobs for women, lift them out of poverty. So it's an amazing project, and I'm really happy with this. But of course, heritage also helps culture, not just poverty reduction and gender equality, but it helps with education. We use the cultural elements of heritage sites to enhance adult literacy. If you are an adult, you really don't have that much opportunity to go to school. If you go to a regular school, many times, in many places, you're not going to be offered instruction to learn how to read and write in your own ethnic language. You actually will end up, learning from mainstream languages. So we have, a project in which we trained thousands and thousands of teachers around the world to actually use the images of World Heritage sites, to use the local languages, to put those in books, and to help them attract the interest of the adults and young generations as well, to learn more, not only about their culture, but to learn to read, to learn history, to learn geography, to use culture to become a catalyst for education. So this is another example. And that benefits a lot of ethnic minorities in particular, whose languages are disappearing. And currently, for example, the world has around 7,000 languages. In 10 years, 3,500 will be gone because there will be not enough people speaking those languages, for them to be considered a living language anymore. So, the use of, heritage and culture to actually revive interest in those languages is another way to not only improve education, but to protect culture. So, heritage sites represent an amazing set of challenges and an amazing set of opportunities all over the world. And we recognize this because, this time, because in 2015, when the United Nations General Assembly got together to decide on a new global development agenda, they actually, for the first time in history, included culture as a key element of development. So really, culture now has finally been recognized as a catalyst of development. There should not be just economic development, social development, environmental development. Cultural development is a part of it now. And so this is a picture of the UNGA. In 2015, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, with 17 Sustainable Development Goals, no poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education, life on planet, decent work, and so on, was set up. And World Heritage Sites are a global asset. They belong to humanity. We belong to World Heritage Sites too. And this is a global agenda for development. So, of course, World Heritage Sites became a place where we can test and look how can we improve and progress towards achievement of these goals. But of course, there is one heritage site, one place in the universe that is so unique, so extraordinary, that even in a universe that has billions and billions of stars, we cannot find another one of it. So I'll leave you, with the best World Heritage Site in the world, because the World Heritage Site are about culture and nature. The Sustainable Development Goals are about people and planet. Those two things are the same, essentially. And if we treated our people and our planet with the same care that we put in place for our World Heritage Sites, we all would have such a better life. So I thank you for your attention, and I urge you to visit all World Heritage Sites in China and abroad that you can, or at least look them up in, on the internet, because what you see, you amaze you for your entire life. Thank you.